Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. The soft hum of conversation and the clinking of silverware fills the air as Emma steps into the elegant restaurant. She hesitates at the entrance, her eyes scanning the room. The lighting is warm and subdued, the kind of place where everything looks perfect. But Emma, standing in her second-hand dress and worn-out shoes, feels out of place. Her heart races, her hands shaking as she whispers under her breath. Table 7. Hi. You must be Kevin, Emma says with a slight tremor in her voice as she sits down across from him. Hi, Emma, Liam says, still trying to make sense of what just happened. Right. Blind dates are something else, Liam says, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. You're not what I expected, Emma says, her voice thoughtful as she takes a sip of water. Liam raises an eyebrow. Hey Emma, where are you? I'm at table 7, looking forward to meeting you. Kevin. Wait, Liam says, standing as well. Emma, it's okay. Emma bursts out onto the street, the cool air hitting her face as she hurries away. Her mind races, replaying the awkward moment over and over again. She was certain she'd never see him again, but as she walks down the street, she can't help but wonder if there was something more to that encounter. Stay tuned for the next part of the story, where Emma and Liam's lives will collide once more in the most unexpected way. After that awkward encounter, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that something unusual had happened. She had walked away from the restaurant, embarrassed beyond belief, but she couldn't stop thinking about him. Liam. Who was he really? Why hadn't he corrected her when she sat down at his table? Why did she feel this strange connection? That night, after tossing and turning, she decided to forget about it. After all, it was just a mistake, right? She'd never see him again. But fate had other plans. The next day, Emma walked into the cafe for another long shift. As she was setting up, her phone buzzed. It was an unfamiliar number, and for a moment, she hesitated before answering. Hello, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. A smooth, confident voice responded from the other end. Emma, it's Liam. We met last night. Well, at the restaurant. I wanted to apologize for the mix-up. Emma's heart skipped a beat. She hadn't expected this, not in a million years. Hi Liam. No need to apologize. It was my mistake. I wasn't paying attention. I understand. But I wanted to make it up to you, Liam said, his tone sincere. How about we meet for coffee? I feel like we didn't really get a chance to talk last night, and I'd like to properly introduce myself. Emma was taken aback. This was the last thing she expected. She'd walked away from him in embarrassment, convinced she would never hear from him again. But here he was, calling her and asking to meet. She wasn't sure why, but something in his voice made her hesitate. Sure, I guess, coffee sounds fine. They agreed to meet at a small cafe downtown, a place Emma liked because it was quiet and cozy, far from the expensive restaurants Liam probably frequented. When she arrived, she spotted him right away. He was sitting at a corner table, wearing a casual jacket and jeans, but there was something unmistakably confident about him, something she hadn't noticed last night. As she walked over, Liam stood up, his eyes lighting up when he saw her. I'm really glad you came, he said, smiling. It was different from the shy, reserved man she had met the night before. This Liam was warm, inviting, almost charming. Emma sat down, a little nervous, but also curious. She couldn't deny that there was a certain pull between them, something that went beyond their awkward first meeting. So what do you do, Liam? What's your job? She asked, trying to break the ice. He chuckled softly. I work in tech. I'm actually the CEO of a startup, though I'm sure that sounds more impressive than it actually is. Wow, Emma said, her eyes widening. That's really impressive. She felt a little self-conscious, suddenly aware of how different their lives were. She was just a waitress, struggling to make ends meet, while Liam was a CEO. It felt like a world apart. Liam smiled. I didn't mean to make it sound like I'm bragging. Honestly, I enjoy the work, but it comes with its own challenges. I'm more interested in hearing about you, Emma. What do you want to do? She paused for a moment, unsure how to explain the depths of her dreams. Well, I've always wanted to open my own art studio. I love painting, But right now, I'm just trying to get by. I've got a lot of bills to pay, and sometimes it feels like my dreams are so far out of reach. There was a moment of silence as Liam took in her words. Emma's vulnerability struck him. She wasn't trying to impress him with stories of wealth or success. She was being real. And somehow, that was more attractive than anything else. I think that's incredible, Liam said, his voice low. I can tell you have a real passion for it. Don't give up on that dream. Emma smiled, touched by his sincerity. Thanks, she said softly. I'll try my best. As they continued to talk, Emma felt the walls around her start to fall. She had been so quick to judge Liam, assuming he was just another rich guy who wouldn't care about someone like her. But in the quiet moments between their words, she realized he wasn't like the others. When their coffee came to an end, Liam stood and offered her a small, almost apologetic smile. I've really enjoyed this, Emma. I know we started off a little wrong, but I feel like we've got a good conversation going now. I'd like to keep getting to know you, if you're open to it. Emma looked up at him, her heart racing again. She hadn't expected this, not in a million years. But there was something in Liam's eyes, a kindness, a genuine interest, that made her wonder if maybe this could turn into something more. I'd like that, she said, her voice steady. As they said their goodbyes and Emma walked out of the cafe, she felt an odd sense of hope stir in her chest. Maybe the wrong table had led her to the right person. Maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something beautiful. Stay tuned for the next part, where Emma and Liam's lives will collide in unexpected ways, changing both of them forever. It's been a week since Emma and Liam had that unexpected coffee meeting, and things have changed. They've been texting, checking in on each other, and occasionally meeting up for lunch. The conversations have grown deeper, more personal, and Emma has started to feel something she didn't expect, comfort. Something about Liam's calm demeanor, the way he listens without judgment, has drawn her in. For once, she feels like she can be herself without pretending to be someone she's not. But little does she know, Liam is beginning to feel the same way. One sunny afternoon, Emma is sitting in the break room of the cafe, sipping her iced tea, when her phone buzzes. She picks it up, and it's a message from Liam. Hey, I've got an extra ticket to a charity gala this weekend. I was wondering if you'd like to come with me. Emma blinks at the message, feeling a rush of surprise. A gala? She'd never been to one of those, especially not with someone like Liam. She hesitates for a moment. It feels too fancy, too out of her league. But then she remembers how much they've talked over the past week, how easy it has been to connect with him. Maybe this is a step forward. Are you sure? She types back, her fingers hovering over the screen. I'm not exactly fancy event material. Liam's reply comes almost instantly. You're exactly what this event needs, he writes. It'll be fun, I promise. And I really want you to be there. Emma reads his message a few times, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. She isn't sure why, but the thought of attending this gala with Liam feels like something important. She bites her lip, making a decision. Okay, I'll go, she replies. The night of the gala, Emma stands in front of her bathroom mirror, staring at the dress she borrowed from Jenny. It's a simple black dress, elegant but not too extravagant. Her hair is styled in loose waves, and she's done her best with the makeup, though she still feels out of place. She takes a deep breath before heading out to meet Liam. When she arrives at the venue, her jaw drops. The grand ballroom is filled with twinkling lights, shiny floors, and elegantly dressed people. Emma feels like she stepped into a world she doesn't belong in. She stands there for a moment, frozen, trying to gather her courage. Then she sees Liam. He's standing near the entrance, wearing a black tuxedo that somehow makes him look even more handsome. When he sees her, his face lights up. You made it, Liam says, his voice filled with warmth. You look amazing, Emma. Emma smiles, a little shy. I feel a little out of place. Liam chuckles. I think you're fitting in just fine. As they walk through the crowd, Liam introduces Emma to some of his colleagues and friends, and she's surprised by how easy it is to talk to them. They don't treat her like she's from a different world. They're kind, engaging, and genuinely interested in her. Emma starts to relax, enjoying the night, and before long, she realizes that she's actually having fun. Later in the evening, during a quiet moment, Liam pulls her aside to the balcony. The city lights glitter below them, and the cool breeze feels refreshing after being inside the crowded ballroom. I'm glad you came tonight, Liam says, his voice low, almost hesitant. I've been thinking a lot about you, Emma. More than I expected to. Emma feels a flutter in her chest. She had been thinking about him too, but hearing it from him makes her heart race. I'm glad I came too, she says, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't think I would fit in, but I feel comfortable with you. Liam smiles softly. You make me feel comfortable too. There's a pause, and Emma feels the weight of his words, something deeper than friendship in his gaze. As they stand there, looking out over the city, Emma feels a shift. Something between them has changed. The connection they've built over the past week has turned into something more, a spark of something that could be real. Before long, the gala is over, and they're walking out into the cool night air. As they reach the door, Liam turns to Emma, his expression serious. I don't want tonight to be the last time we see each other, he says, his voice quiet but certain. Can we maybe try to make this something more? Emma feels a lump form in her throat. She had been afraid of this moment, afraid of what it would mean to let someone in. But looking at Liam, seeing the sincerity in his eyes, she realizes she wants to take that chance. Yes, she says softly, her heart racing. I think I'd like that. As they leave the gala together, Emma can't help but smile. This wasn't how she expected her life to go. But maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something beautiful. Stay tuned for the next part of the story, where Emma and Liam will face challenges that will test their newfound connection. The days after the gala felt like a dream to Emma. What had started as a simple, awkward blind date had turned into something much more. She and Liam had been spending more time together, talking about everything from their childhoods to their hopes for the future. Emma had never felt so at ease with someone before, and the more they got to know each other, the more she realized how much they had in common. But there was still a part of her that couldn't quite let go of the fact that this all started as a mistake. One evening, as Emma was closing up the cafe after her shift, her phone buzzed. It was a text from Liam. Hey, I've been thinking about you. I know we've only known each other for a little while, but I feel like there's something real here. Would you be open to having dinner with me tomorrow night? Emma smiled as she read the message. She had been thinking about Liam too, and the idea of spending more time with him, away from the chaos of their busy lives, sounded perfect. She quickly typed a response. I'd love to. Where are we going? Liam replied with a smiley face emoji and a simple, it's a surprise. The next evening, Emma found herself standing outside a quaint little restaurant in the heart of the city, a place she had never noticed before. The warm glow of the lights spilling out from the windows made the whole place look inviting. Liam was already waiting for her when she arrived, his smile making her heart skip a beat. You look beautiful, Liam said as he greeted her with a gentle kiss on the cheek. Thank you, Emma replied, feeling her face flush. This place looks lovely. I'm excited. As they sat down, the waiter handed them menus, and Liam took a moment to look at her, his eyes filled with something that Emma couldn't quite place. I've been wanting to tell you something, Emma, Liam said, his voice quieter than usual. Emma looked at him, her heart starting to race. What is it? Liam paused for a moment, as if choosing his words carefully. I've been trying to figure out how to say this, he continued. But I think I need to be honest with you. I'm not used to being this open with anyone. But with you it just feels right. Emma felt a wave of nervousness wash over her. What was he about to say? I know we started this as a mistake, Liam said, his eyes meeting hers. But I've been falling for you, Emma. And I'm not sure what that means for us, but I don't want to hide it anymore. I want to see where this can go. I want to be with you. Emma felt her breath catch in her throat. She hadn't expected this. They had spent so much time together, but she hadn't allowed herself to believe that Liam might feel the same way. She had been afraid to hope for something more. Liam, Emma started, her voice trembling slightly. I've been feeling the same way. I didn't know if you felt the same. This has all happened so fast, but I don't want to walk away from it either. Liam reached across the table, gently taking her hand in his. Then don't. Let's take this one step at a time, together. I don't want to rush you, Emma, but I want you to know that I'm here, and I want to try to make this work. Emma felt a warmth spread through her chest as she looked at him. His honesty, his vulnerability, it made her feel safe, something she hadn't felt in a long time. She squeezed his hand and smiled. I think I'm ready, she said softly. I think I want to try too. The rest of the dinner passed in a blur of laughter, shared stories, and soft glances. Emma realized that, for the first time in a long while, she was truly happy. This wasn't just some fling, some casual affair. This was real. And despite all the doubts and uncertainties, she couldn't wait to see where this journey with Liam would take them. As they finished their meal, Liam stood and offered her his arm. "Shall we go for a walk?" he asked, his voice full of warmth. Emma took his arm, feeling the same flutter of excitement she had when they first met. "I'd love that." They walked through the quiet streets of the city, hand in hand, not needing to say much. For the first time in a long time, Emma felt at peace, like she was exactly where she was meant to be. Stay tuned for the next part of the story, where Emma and Liam's bond will be tested in unexpected ways, as their relationship takes its next step. It had been a few weeks since Emma and Liam had decided to give their relationship a real chance. Things were moving fast, but there was a sense of ease between them. They spent more time together, going on walks, having quiet dinners, and talking about everything and anything. Emma had even started sharing more about her dreams, her passion for painting, her hopes of opening an art studio one day. Liam listened, encouraging her every step of the way. But despite the closeness they shared, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that something was just a little too perfect. One evening, Liam invited Emma to his penthouse for dinner. As she walked into the sleek, modern apartment, the warm, cozy atmosphere stood in stark contrast to the stark, sterile exterior of the building. The view from the window was breathtaking, and Emma felt a little out of place in her simple dress compared to the lavish surroundings. But when she saw Liam, his welcoming smile made her feel like she belonged. "I'm glad you could make it," Liam said, his voice warm as he greeted her with a kiss on the cheek. "I know things have been moving quickly, but I wanted to talk to you about something." He sounded serious, and that made Emma pause. "What's on your mind?" Emma asked, taking a seat at the dinner table. Liam sat down across from her, his face thoughtful. "I know we've been spending a lot of time together, and I've been thinking a lot about us. And I want to be upfront with you about something." His gaze was steady, almost intense. Emma's heart skipped a beat. She wasn't sure what to expect. "Okay, what is it?" she asked softly. "I care about you, Emma. A lot," Liam said, his voice low. "And I know this all started in an unconventional way, but I think what we have is real. I'm not asking you to make any decisions now, but I just want you to know that I'm in this with you." His words were sincere, and there was no hesitation in his voice. Emma's heart swelled. She hadn't expected him to say this, but hearing him express it so openly made her feel something deep inside her. She had been afraid of getting too close, of letting herself believe that this could be more than just a fleeting romance. But now, hearing Liam's words, she realized that she wanted this too. She reached across the table, placing her hand over his. "I care about you too, Liam," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I think I've been scared of how fast everything's moving. But I know I don't want to lose this, what we have." She squeezed his hand, trying to convey just how much it meant to her. The tension between them dissolved, and for a moment, they just sat there in silence, the weight of their words hanging in the air. Liam smiled softly, his thumb gently brushing over her hand. "I'm glad to hear you say that," he said quietly. "I don't want to rush you, Emma. I just want to make sure you know how I feel." He paused, then added, "And I want you to know that no matter what happens, I'm here for you." His words were simple, but they meant everything. Emma felt a warmth spread through her chest, and for the first time in a while, she allowed herself to truly believe that she deserved this. She wasn't just the waitress with big dreams, she was someone worth loving. And as she looked at Liam, she saw a future with him, one where she didn't have to hide her true self. As the evening went on, they talked about everything, their pasts, their futures, the things that scared them, and the things that made them hopeful. By the end of the night, Emma knew that she wasn't ready to walk away from this. Whatever was ahead, she wanted to face it with Liam. But life, as it often does, had other plans. The next day, Emma was sitting at the cafe when a text came in from Liam. "I need to talk to you," it read, followed by a short pause before the next message appeared. "There's something I should have told you a while ago. Meet me tonight at my place." Emma's heart sank. She couldn't help but feel a sudden wave of anxiety wash over her. What was this about? As the hours passed, Emma couldn't stop thinking about the message. When she finally arrived at Liam's apartment that evening, she noticed the tension in the air as soon as she stepped inside. "Liam?" she called softly, her voice echoing in the quiet apartment. He appeared from the hallway, his face serious, but there was a sense of urgency in his eyes. "Emma, I need you to hear me out," he said, walking toward her. "I've been keeping something from you, and I think it's time you knew the truth." The words hung in the air, and Emma's heart began to race. What could it be? What had he been hiding? Stay tuned for the next part of the story, where Emma will face the truth about Liam, and their relationship will be tested in ways neither of them expected. Emma stood there, frozen in the doorway, her heart pounding. She had been prepared for a conversation, but not this. Not whatever Liam was about to tell her. His words hung in the air, heavy with tension. "Emma, I need you to hear me out," Liam said again, his voice strained. "There's something I should have told you a while ago, and I think it's time you knew the truth." The urgency in his voice made her stomach twist. What could it be? What had he been hiding from her all this time? She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself before stepping fully into the apartment. "What is it, Liam?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. She was trying to mask the panic creeping into her chest, but the unease was undeniable. Liam paced a few steps before turning to face her, his expression serious, yet somehow distant. He was clearly struggling with how to say what was on his mind. "I've been lying to you," he finally said, his words coming out slowly, like each one weighed a ton. "I didn't mean to, but I think it's time you know who I really am." His words stung more than she expected. Emma's mind raced, her thoughts tangled. Had he been pretending all this time? Was he not who she thought he was? Emma's heart skipped a beat, the room feeling smaller by the second. "Liam, what do you mean? What are you hiding?" she asked, her voice now trembling. She had never felt so uncertain, so vulnerable. He looked at her, guilt flashing across his face. "I'm not just a tech CEO," Liam admitted, his eyes avoiding hers. "I'm part of a family that owns a large corporation, and my life isn't exactly the way I told you it was." His words hit her like a ton of bricks. She blinked, trying to process them. What did this mean? He wasn't just a regular businessman. Was he hiding some dark secret? She took a step forward, her voice shaking. "Liam, what exactly are you trying to say? That you've been lying to me this whole time?" Her stomach twisted, her mind racing. She couldn't understand why he would hide something so important from her. Liam took a deep breath, his eyes finally meeting hers. "I never meant to lie to you," he said softly. "But my family, they want me to take over the business. They've always expected me to follow their path, to take control of everything. And I didn't know how to explain all of that to you. I've kept this side of my life hidden because I didn't want you to think that's all I am. I wanted you to know me for me, not for what I have." He looked at her with sincerity, as if trying to show her the real Liam. But Emma wasn't sure what to feel. Was it enough that he was being honest now? Or was the damage already done? Emma stood still, trying to process everything. She had come to know Liam as someone who had been open with her, someone who made her feel special. But now, with this revelation, everything felt like it had shifted. "So, you've been hiding the truth from me because you didn't want me to know about your wealth?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Liam nodded, his gaze filled with regret. "I didn't want you to think I was just some rich guy trying to buy affection, or that you'd only be interested in me for my money. I didn't want to complicate things, especially since we were just getting to know each other." He paused, taking a few steps closer to her. "But I realize now that hiding the truth from you wasn't fair. I should have told you earlier. You deserve to know everything." His words were genuine, but Emma couldn't ignore the feeling of betrayal that gnawed at her heart. She took a step back, her emotions swirling. She didn't know what to say. Part of her understood why Liam had kept his wealth a secret, but another part of her felt hurt that he hadn't been upfront with her sooner. She had opened up to him, shared her dreams and fears, and now she was faced with this revelation. Was it a lie of omission or something more? Finally, she spoke, her voice quiet but firm. "I don't know what to think, Liam. You've been so kind, so real with me, but now, I feel like I don't know who you really are." She shook her head, trying to find the right words. "I don't want your money. I never did. I wanted to be with you, the person I've come to know. But now, I don't know what's real anymore." Her voice broke, and she couldn't help the tears that welled up in her eyes. Liam's expression softened, and he reached out to her, gently brushing her cheek with his hand. "I know this is a lot to take in," he said, his voice filled with tenderness. "But I want you to know that my feelings for you haven't changed. I care about you, Emma, more than you could know. Please, just give me a chance to prove that I'm the man you've come to know. I'm not perfect, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right." His words were heartfelt, but Emma wasn't sure if it was enough. For a long moment, they stood there in silence, the weight of their words hanging between them. Emma didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing for sure. This was a turning point. Whether they could move past this moment, only time would tell. Stay tuned for the next part of the story, where Emma and Liam will have to decide if their love is strong enough to survive the secrets that have come between them. The room was thick with silence after Liam's words. Emma stood frozen, her heart a mess of emotions. She wanted to believe him. She really did. But the truth was, she felt betrayed. Everything had been so perfect between them, or at least she thought it was. Now, everything felt uncertain. She looked at Liam, the man she had come to trust, but now, with his confession, she couldn't help but question everything. I don't know if I can just forget this, Liam, Emma said, her voice trembling. You should have told me earlier. We could have been honest with each other from the start. But you kept this from me. How do I know you're not hiding other things? Her voice was barely above a whisper, but the weight of her words was enough to make Liam's face fall. Liam stepped closer, his eyes filled with regret. I understand why you feel that way. And I'm sorry. I was afraid, Emma. Afraid that you would see me as just another rich guy. That you'd want me for my wealth, not for who I am. I should have trusted you more. I was wrong to keep this from you. His words were sincere, but Emma wasn't sure if that would be enough to undo the hurt she felt. Emma bit her lip, her mind racing. She had always prided herself on being able to see the good in people, but now she was struggling to trust what she saw in Liam. Was this the real him, or was he just playing a part? I don't want your money, Liam, Emma said, her voice soft but firm. I never did. But I need you to understand how this feels for me. I've always been honest with you. I've shared things with you that I haven't shared with anyone. And now, I feel like I don't know you at all. Her chest tightened with emotion. She hadn't expected this to happen. She had been so sure about him. There was a long pause, and Liam let out a deep sigh. I never meant to make you feel this way, he said quietly. I wanted to share everything with you, but I was afraid. Afraid that you would look at me differently, that you would think I was only worth something because of what I had. I know it's not right, but I didn't want that to be the reason you were with me. He reached out, gently taking her hand in his. Please, Emma. I'm asking for a chance to prove to you that I'm not just some rich guy. I'm the person who cares about you. His voice was low and sincere. Emma looked down at their hands, her heart aching. She wanted to believe him. She really did. But she wasn't sure if she could just let go of the doubt that had settled in her mind. Could she really move past this? Could she trust Liam again? She pulled her hand away slowly, her voice wavering. I need time, Liam. I can't just forgive you right away. This is a lot for me to process. I need to figure out if I can trust you again. Her words were honest, but it broke her heart to say them. She didn't want to feel this way. She didn't want to be uncertain, but she couldn't ignore the nagging feeling in her chest. Liam's face softened, and he nodded slowly. I understand. I won't push you. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. He stepped back, giving her space, though his eyes never left hers. For the first time in weeks, Emma felt lost. She had never been in a situation like this before. The connection she had felt with Liam seemed so real, so powerful. But now, it was clouded by doubts she couldn't shake. She needed time to figure out where they stood, and what her heart truly wanted. As she turned to leave, Liam called out to her softly. Emma, whatever happens, I just want you to know that I care about you. I'm willing to fight for this, for us, but I won't rush you. His words were filled with emotion, and Emma's heart fluttered despite the confusion swirling inside her. Stay tuned for the next part of the story, where Emma will face the difficult decision of whether to trust Liam again, and whether their love can survive the challenges that lie ahead. The days that followed were filled with uncertainty. Emma spent time reflecting on everything she had learned about Liam, trying to sort through the swirl of emotions in her heart. She didn't know what to do. Her mind told her that she should walk away, that the trust between them had been broken. But her heart still felt the pull towards him. Every time she thought about how he'd looked at her, the sincerity in his eyes when he told her he cared, it made her hesitate. Could she truly walk away from that? One afternoon, a few days later, Emma was sitting on the bench in the park where she and Liam had first met. She hadn't been able to talk to him much since their conversation, and now, she was beginning to realize just how much she missed him. She thought about the good times, the laughter they shared, the deep conversations, the way he had been so present in her life. She couldn't deny that she had feelings for him. But the question remained, was she willing to forgive him, to trust him again? As she sat there, lost in her thoughts, she felt her phone buzz in her pocket. She pulled it out, and it was a message from Liam. Can we meet? I need to talk to you. I'm not giving up on us. Liam's words were simple, but there was something in them, something that made Emma's heart race. She took a deep breath. She hadn't been sure what to expect from him after their last conversation, but here he was, reaching out, asking for another chance. She couldn't keep running from this. She couldn't keep pretending that she didn't care. After a few moments, Emma typed back, "Okay, I'll meet you." It was simple, but it felt like a turning point. She had made up her mind. She was ready to face whatever came next, for better or for worse. Later that evening, they met at the same park. Liam was already there, standing by the bench where they had first talked. His face was serious, but when he saw her, his expression softened. He took a few steps toward her, his eyes searching hers as if trying to read her thoughts. "Emma," Liam began, his voice filled with quiet determination. "I know I've hurt you, and I know I don't deserve it, but I want to make things right. I want to prove to you that what we have is real. I care about you, more than I can say. I know I should have been honest with you from the start, and for that, I'm sorry." Emma looked at him, her heart beating a little faster. She wanted to believe him, but could she? Could she trust him again? She took a step closer, her voice steady. "I've been thinking about everything," she said softly, "and I can't ignore the fact that you kept things from me. But the truth is, Liam, I don't want to lose what we have. I care about you too, and maybe that's enough for me to give you a chance. But it's going to take time. I need to see that you're willing to fight for this, for us." Liam's eyes filled with relief and gratitude. "I will fight, Emma. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm not going to give up on us. Not now, not ever." His voice was full of sincerity, and Emma felt a weight lift off her shoulders. She didn't have all the answers yet, but she knew one thing. She was willing to try. As they stood there, the air between them seemed to clear. Emma could feel the tension that had been hanging over them for days finally start to dissipate. They were taking a step forward, together. I think we can make this work," Emma said, her voice filled with hope. "But you have to be patient with me, Liam. I'm not going to rush this. We need to rebuild trust, and that's not going to happen overnight." Liam nodded, his expression soft. "I'll be patient. I'll wait for as long as it takes. I just want you to know that I'm in this, Emma. I'm here." With those words, Emma finally felt like the door was open, that there was hope for them yet. It wouldn't be easy, but she believed in the connection they shared. It was worth the effort. They were worth the effort. Stay tuned for the next part of the story, where Emma and Liam's journey will continue, filled with challenges and moments of growth that will test their bond. Months had passed since Emma and Liam had decided to rebuild their relationship. It hadn't been easy, but they were making progress. There were moments of doubt, moments when the past would resurface, but they always talked things through. Trust, Emma had learned, wasn't something that could be rushed. It had to be earned, day by day. But with each passing day, she felt more certain that Liam was the person she had always wanted him to be. He wasn't perfect, but neither was she. Together, they were learning how to be real with each other, how to face their fears and embrace the future. One evening, Liam took Emma to a small art gallery she had always wanted to visit. They had been walking hand in hand through the quiet streets of the city, their laughter echoing in the cool night air. The gallery was tucked away on a quiet street, with paintings and sculptures that captured the beauty of life in all its forms. Emma had always dreamed of one day having her own art studio, but she never thought she'd be able to afford it. Yet, as they walked through the gallery together, something in her heart stirred. It wasn't just the art, it was the realization that her dreams were closer than she had ever imagined. As they walked past a painting that caught Emma's eye, Liam stopped beside her, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. "You know," he said softly, "I've been thinking a lot about what you said, the dream you have of opening your own studio, and I want to help you make it a reality." Emma turned to face him, her heart skipping a beat. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Liam smiled, a warmth in his eyes. "I know things have been complicated between us, but I want you to know that I believe in you. I believe in your art, in your talent. I want to help you find a space, get started, and make your dream come true. I'm not asking you to accept it now, but when you're ready, I want to be here for you, Emma." Emma felt a rush of emotion flood through her. She hadn't expected this. She had been so focused on the uncertainties between them that she had forgotten about the possibility of her dreams coming true. Liam, she was at a loss for words. The gesture meant so much more than just helping her financially. It was his way of showing that he believed in her, that he saw her as more than just someone who had been caught in his world. He saw her for who she truly was. You don't have to say anything now, Liam continued, sensing her overwhelm. I just wanted you to know that I'm in this with you, no matter what. If you want to take the next step with me, I'll be here. Emma stood there, her heart full of love and gratitude for him. She had come so far from the doubts and fears that once clouded her heart. She had learned to trust, to let go, and to embrace the beauty of what they had together. The past was no longer something that weighed her down. It was a part of their story, yes, but it didn't define them. I'm ready, Liam, Emma said, her voice steady with conviction. I'm ready to take the next step. With you. Liam's face lit up, and without a word, he pulled her into a warm embrace. The world around them seemed to fade away, and for a moment, it was just the two of them, standing together in the middle of their journey. The next few months were filled with new beginnings, finding the perfect studio space for Emma, starting her art exhibitions, and creating a future together. They faced challenges, as all couples do, but they faced them together, hand in hand, learning to navigate life's ups and downs. One day, as they were sitting in the studio Emma had always dreamed of, Liam turned to her, his eyes soft with affection. I love you, Emma, he said simply. Emma smiled, her heart swelling with love. I love you too, Liam. And in that moment, as they sat together, surrounded by her art, she knew that this was just the beginning of a beautiful, shared journey. A journey where love, trust, and dreams all intertwined, leading them to a future they had both worked so hard to create. Stay tuned for more stories, where love, growth, and new beginnings continue to unfold.